name is Dararis and welcome to my channel. Today I would like to introduce you my new ceramic piece, such sculpture. Check it out closer. This is fully handmade sculpture made out of clay and shaped by these hands. Look at this. In this video I will share with you how I made it, all the steps from shaping until glazing, and including part about explosion. So stay updated. I would like to begin with shaping. So how this idea came to my mind, because I was thinking about making a cup with face. And I just started shaping face and I realized that it can be a good holder for something, not necessarily cup for drinking some drinks. So yes, I was shaping this face out of clay, and then I added some more clay on the back side in order to make hole and to have this beautiful space for some equipment, for example. And this is how I shaped it. After shaping, it was fired in the kiln, and in the kiln this happened. Oh, now you can see it was exploded here and here. I was trying to remove it at the stage of shaping because it was just slight scratch, and I thought that I removed it, but unfortunately not fully, and the risk of explosion exists every time we are working with such massive sculptures. Why explosions happen? Because there is some air bubbles inside the clay, and during firing they just explode, this air inside the clay. And the best way to prevent it, just to remove all air bubbles at the stage of shaping and to check that clay is without any air inside. But since this work is quite messy, as you can see here, it's quite difficult to control whether all air bubbles were removed. In my previous video I already shared story about a different explosion. It was much worse because just piece of face exploded out. Luckily in this case it was just such type of scratch. So it was glazed and now it's fully functional piece, no signs of explosion or something, just these reminders, but it does not affect functionality in no way. So yes, this is the risk of making such type of sculptures, that it may explode. But luckily this explosion is not that heavy. So after it was fired I painted, and usually I'm painting before first firing, but this time it happened that I was doing this after first firing. But anyways, I just put very slight amount of color, and as you can see it gave so bright effect. Usually when I'm painting my works I'm giving 3 layers of color, and in this case I gave only 1 layer, and as you can see it was enough to have such bright composition. And I think it's because clay could not absorb more color, so this 1 layer it was fully enough to have such beautiful effect. And after glazing, this is what we receive. I glazed it with just simple transparent glaze. Of course it was possible maybe to paint something more here in different color inside, but since it was already fired I could not apply a big amount of color on top, so I applied only a little bit of makeup in order to make it more beautiful. And I think this makeup is the secret of why it looks so realistic, because look at this face, it feels like it's really looking at you. And I think this result was achieved due to coloring, because for example I have a different piece of clay, different sculpture. Check out my next videos, I will share more about this. There is also interesting story, and as you can see it looks so beautiful, it looks so elegant, classic, without any colors, anything. It's just piece of clay which is glazed in transparent glaze, and this is the result. But for this work I decided that colors would be needed to make it more joyful. So yes, and this is how it looks like. I would like to share with you my idea of using such ceramic thing. The first idea is of course with brushes, because since this ceramic piece has makeup, it's logical to use it in makeup environment when, for example, you have your own place where you are doing makeup every morning. You can just put this beautiful shape and put brushes inside, and it's very joyful to take brushes out of this type of holder. I think it looks really cool. Very creative and very joyful. Another option how you can use it is just simply by putting inside your pencils, pens, whatever you have, to keep it at your table, for example, at your working space. Where you are working, you can take your pens, if you are using them, and yes, and it will be very nice accessories for your working space. Besides that, there are really many options how to use this type of sculpture. Please write in commentaries what would be your idea, how would you use this sculpture. In the meantime, this is what I wanted to share with you about this work. Thank you very much for your attention. Please write if you have tried to make such sculptures, faces, and whether you faced challenges of explosions. I will be very curious to read. In the meantime, stay updated, because further I will share more about my works, about books, creativity, art, and all those topics. Thank you so much for your attention, and see you soon!